Thank you for tuning in to the Afternoon Pint Podcast. Our show will start right after these messages from our sponsors.
Hey, Matt. We're thinking of selling our home and finding a bigger place.
Oh, really? I thought you guys loved where you lived.
Oh, we do. Our family is just growing. With pets. A dog, a cat, 2 guinea pigs, a hamster.
And you're planning on getting more?
Maybe a goat or a crocodile.
Well, I have the person for you. Kimia Nejat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients.
We're just browsing now. I'm not sure if we really need a realtor yet.
Yeah, no worries. Kimia can help you with the comparative market analysis to help you determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work at your pace.
Awesome. All right, I'll give her a shot. What's her phone number?
On Facebook, Kimia Nejat, Exit Realty Metro. Her phone number is 902-880-8429, and her email is kimia@exitmetro.ca.
902-880-8429. Awesome. Thanks.
This podcast was brought to you by Dan Lomas, that's LOMAS of lomasfinancial.ca.
Are you a small business owner who wants to keep more of your hard-earned profits and pay less taxes to the CRA? Do you want to plan for a comfortable and secure retirement? If your answer is yes, then you need to talk to Dan Lomas at Lomas Financial.
Dan Lomas is a financial advisor who has been helping successful entrepreneurs and business owners for over 2.5 decades. He utilizes customized solutions that can help you keep your earnings, dramatically reducing passive income tax.
Dan Lomas and his team will help you transition corporate wealth into personal wealth by utilizing customized executive pension plans. Dan will show you how to convert business wealth into personal wealth in a professional manner.
Don't let the CRA take more money than they deserve. Don't let your retirement dreams fade away. Contact Dan Lomas today and let him guide you on your path to financial success.
Visit Dan Lomas at lomasfinancial.ca or call him direct at 902-209-0855. That's 902-209-0855.
Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint. I'm Mike Tobin.
I'm Matt Conrad.
And who do we have with us today?
My name is Sean Meister.
Sean Meister. Now, I've seen your name around on LinkedIn a few times.
That seems to be where I live, yes.
Something about Blue Nose.
Yeah, I'm the unofficial Nova Scotia guy on LinkedIn, and I'm the founder of Global Bluenosers, a podcast and digital community.
Right, fascinating. And Matt, where in the heck are we today?
So we're down in the beautiful Mahone Bay, and we are at Saltbox Brewery, which was formerly a garage, I believe.
Yeah, it looks like a garage, and it's been well outfitted. It looks pretty cool here. They got a lovely patio, and it's a really nice day here.
It's a beautiful day, and we got some beers here, and we actually have a brewmaster here.
Ooh.
Yeah, so why don't we get we'll get an introduction of the brewmaster, and we'll get him to maybe tell us a little bit about the beers.
Yeah.
Maybe we might need to tell you what ones we ordered. Who knows?
Well,
so come on in.
All right. Hey, guys.
Hey. And what's your name?
Nick.
Nick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Nick, how long have you been brewing here?
Well, this is a couple years I've been brewing. Patrick has trained me through the brewing process. I wouldn't call myself a brewmaster yet, but we're gonna get there.
Brew Padawan.
Yeah.
Cool.
I need more experience, I would say. Yeah.
And I remember we met actually at the the Together We Brew. We Brew Together, what was it? Whatever it was called.
Yeah.
Together We Brew down on the waterfront there a couple months back. Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, and I got to try a couple of your beers there. Can you tell us a little bit about the beers we're trying today?
Yeah. So you're having the Plummans.
That's the Dunkelweizen.
Dunkelweizen. Yeah. It's a nice. There's a lot of pineapple, banana, clove. We brew it with Bavarian East String, M20 we call it, or it's called. It's a very delicious beer.
It's very. I love Dunkelweizen.
Yeah.
I like German beers. It's pretty good, actually. And it's so funny because you're talking about pineapple and banana and all that stuff, but it is a dark beer, Dunkel being dark. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we have a summer version. It's the Hefeweizen, obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do we got over here? Sean, what do you have?
I've got the Storm Surge.
Storm Surge. Nice.
Yeah. The Storm Surge is a pale ale. It's on the darker side of the pale.
It is,
yeah.
I would have guessed it was an IPA.
Yeah, yeah. It's a delicious beer. It's got some bitterness to it from the malt and the hops. It's very easy drinking, very enjoyable.
I will confirm delicious because I just took a taste.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're going lighter as we go. So, Mike, what do you got over there? The Pilsner.
I forget what it was called.
Biff's.
Biff's. Yeah.
Biff's.
Biff's Pilsner.
Biff's Pilsner. Yeah.
So it's named after a character that used to come here before my time.
Okay.
It's not Back to the Future.
Oh, not that Biff. Okay, different Biff.
Yeah.
All right.
And he used to live on an island, and somebody gave him a house, like an island offshore here.
Okay.
Somebody gave him a house on inland, and he picked up the house and floated it across to the island.
No way.
Yeah.
Cool.
And he gets a beer named out of it.
Yeah, he got a beer.
This guy has the best
Yeah.
life. Is Biff still around today?
No, unfortunately, he's not with us.
Oh, okay.
But his family are regulars. They come here very often, and we enjoy a pint of beers every time that we talk about him. Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's a
awesome.
pretty cool legacy, actually. I like
Yeah,
that. Like,
incredible.
Yeah, it's a very nice lager.
No, it's nice. It's nice
Yeah.
and crisp, light. Yeah, I like that kind of a lighter beer every now and then, like especially in the middle of the afternoon. That's where we're at now, and
Yeah.
perfect timing for this.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so
Nick.
much.
Oh, no
Appreciate it
problem.
very
And a
much.
beautiful space, man. If you're
Yeah.
here in where are we again, Matt?
Mahone Bay.
Saltbox.
No.
Oh, in Mahone Bay.
Mahone Bay.
Bay.
Mahone
Yeah.
Bay. Yes,
Yeah,
I
it's a
forget. I
beautiful-
wasn't reading the signs on the
beautiful
way up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here in Mahone Bay, beautiful spot, and check it out, Saltbox Brewing Co. Yeah.
I also have to mention to you guys that we have the third best dry stout in Canada right now.
Oh, that's right. I saw
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
won
Was
that
that-
one.
Was that in the Canada Beer Awards there recently?
Yeah,
or- Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
We won
cool.
third
That just
place.
happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
Since we're mentioning it, we might as well mention that you guys also have a lobster beer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
beer.
I'm gonna take it one home to try. I was going to. It
Yeah.
wasn't on tap today, but I'll
Yeah.
take one home and give it a
It's,
shot.
You can really taste the ocean in that one.
Yeah.
We should do an honest beer review on that one.
It's good. I've had it.
You've had it?
Yeah, it's
I've never
good.
had it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very interesting beer. It's,
Cool. Is it popular? A lot of people want to drink it.
Yeah, during the lobster crawl, people just come to drink it. Yeah.
Get a
and,
lobster roll, have some lobster beer.
Cool. And I noticed just looking at your wall here, aside from a huge selection of beers that you guys make, there's also some non-alcohol options. Atlantic Brewing is interesting to me. I've learned a bit about those guys recently. And,
Yeah.
Might, if I have a second one, I might have to try a lemon radler.
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
good. It's a good option for the people that are driving or don't want to
Yeah.
drink real beer. Sorry.
It's awesome. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
All right, Sean. So back to you, my friend. I also noticed you, aside from Blue Nose, do you still work with Volta?
Yeah, so I've got a bunch of different sides to my life. So my day job is Volta, the tech incubator there in Halifax.
And that's a fascinating place, in itself. So maybe before we go on, just tell us a little bit about Volta. I know about it.
I've seen a lot of them popping up on LinkedIn, like a lot of Volta stuff.
I've been to Volta events before, and they're really cool when you guys have your incubator kind of pitches and stuff like that. But just tell.
Yeah, so Volta, we're the largest technology incubator in Atlantic Canada, one of the largest in Canada. So we've been around for 11 years. Started, very grassroots, a bunch of founders that didn't want to be in their basements anymore, so they came together and wanted to create a space for founders to support one another. It's grown to what we are now, which is, we're really hands-on with a small group of tech startups that are really focused on high growth, scaling up, and having an impact not just on themselves but the region. And so we support all 4 Atlantic provinces and really help those companies go from 0 to 1, and then hopefully from 1 to 1 million.
That's awesome.
You're very much everything about your life is definitely like East Coast, eh?
Oh, it's all East Coast.
Yeah.
And for a guy that spent 10 years living away, I'm trying to make up for those 10 years now that I'm back.
Can you think of some of the tech companies that spurred out of Volta that have been massively successful that we might recognize?
Yeah, I mean, so people that might know like Dash Hudson, the social media like management platform. There's Milk Movement. The people that know those guys, I love one because they do like software for dairy supply chain, which is like the most unique thing ever.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of companies that have come out over the years. The thing with tech companies is oftentimes you know about them, or if you're kind of in the sphere, like, you know, Analyze Re and things like that. These are companies that were big and sold. You more so know them when you're in the space, or if you had that direct interaction with them.
Yeah.
But the way I always say it is, if there's a large tech company that's homegrown in Atlantic Canada, especially in Nova Scotia, that's operating, they've likely touched Volta. Volta's, you know, touched their journey at some point or another.
Just curious, like if you were individual or a small group of individuals that were listening to this show, how far along generally would your tech company be before you approach Volta?
So you can be early on, but the thing that's changed with Volta over the past few years is we really focus on identifying companies that are dedicated to the idea of product market fit. Not just that they're like, I have this cool idea that I want to build. They're like, I have this idea that I think we're solving a legitimate problem that people value, people want to spend money on, and we want to validate that assumption is true. So sort of those founders that are really wanting to build something but are really excited to put that to market and see, are their assumptions right, and then build based on what the market tells them, with this idea of like, I want something that's really scalable, that's going to like just blow it out of the... So you can come to us early stage, but you know, there's a particular approach we take that we look for. There's sort of a high accountability on both sides. You know, for us, we really see ourselves as part of the ecosystem here and the future economic growth of the region. So we want to see the companies that are looking to go big and willing to put in the hard work.
Are you guys still down on the towers there?
So we moved in November of last year.
Oh, okay.
So we're now in the old World Trade and Convention Center, because you're not in Nova Scotia if you don't say the old whatever.
Yes.
So we're in the old...
So you're with the passport office.
Yeah. They're on the bottom floor. We're on the top floor.
There you go.
I think there used to be a restaurant there called, I think it was like Windows or something like that. I went through a few different things on the 8th floor in the old tower there. So we stripped that all out, got a co-working space, and then companies there. But like I say, a lot of our companies are virtual residents because we support all 4 provinces. So you don't have to be in Halifax to be a Volta company.
And does Volta like rely heavily on like outside investors?
So for us, we're primarily government funded, federal and provincial government.
Okay.
Our primary funders. With you know, a lot of my job is to fill the gap in terms of looking at corporate partnerships and things like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your job would be kind of like to connect them to the right, maybe the right corporation or the right company that could help get them where they need to be.
To a certain extent, I'm really looking for large organizations in Atlantic Canada or across the country that are looking to be involved in sort of an innovation ecosystem, looking to contribute back to it, and then also potentially have services or products that can help accelerate that at the right time.
Right.
So for me, it's really about finding who are those larger corporates that are a good fit for an Atlantic innovation ecosystem, and then helping them tap into it.
Cool, man. That's really awesome. So that's all my questions for Volta. I just really fascinated by that company. And like I said, I've been to a couple of events, and I just think it's something that if you don't know about, you certainly should, right?
Yeah.
I mean, these things happen right in our own city sometimes. They're right under our noses. We don't even know they're there.
The thing I'd say about Volta is people that knew Volta, you wouldn't recognize Volta now. We've gone through 2 years of quite a bit of change that's been, for me, really inspiring in terms of focusing on not just being a space for people, but being a place that's going to drive growth and support founders and really focus on founders.
And global mindsets these little tech companies have, and often enough, like you said, the milk
movement,
company, what was it? Not milk movement.
Milk movement. And as you can imagine, the movement is MOO. Love it.
There you go. I love puns.
But like a global focus, because, like, to be quite honest, if you're building a tech company, your target audience can't be local. It's got to be global if you're going to scale and make the kind of...
No, that's true.
Right.
You got to be...
I think that's awesome, though, because the tech that's coming here, or that's not coming here, developing here, is starting to really kind of lead the way in a lot of ways. And I think that's really cool, because it's going to put Halifax on the map on certain things.
Yeah.
Certain whatever, tech or energy efficiencies and all that stuff that's coming here. And I think that's great. I think it means we need an even greater need to start building houses and apartments and things like that sooner, but sooner and faster. But
yeah, I mean, I grew up at a time when everyone was leaving the province,
Mm-hmm.
so you often get two sets of challenges in a place like Nova Scotia. You get the challenges that come with contraction, or you've got the challenges that come with growth. And I've always said challenges related to growth are a lot more exciting,
way more,
and
absolutely.
And so. Yeah, it's really fascinating what I would describe, like, from coming home outside of the Volta lens, just as a Nova Scotian that moved home. There's a maturity to our economy and to our business community that really shows that we've turned a bit of a corner. Like the types of people that are operating, the type of people that are working in these companies, we've kind of gone from sort of that fringe little thing to, like, we're a legitimate economy with really interesting things happening. And the only word I can ever come up with is maturity. We've kind of reached that maturity that we wanted to see, and now we just have to accelerate that.
Can I ask you, like, what do you think we need right now to make this kind of continue to grow? What's holding us back, so to speak, or what roadblocks do you see in play?
Probably ourselves.
Yeah.
So I'd say one of the things is what I often see on the East Coast, especially, and so much of what I do is talking to people that are from here that have left and live elsewhere. Those global Bluenosers. And I think one of the most fascinating things from talking to them and from my own experience is we often look at what does success look like here from the context of what it used to be or what it is right now. And what we should be looking at is, like, what is it to make a successful province, a successful region compared to other places in the world? Not looking in the mirror and saying, how do we be a better version of this? It's saying, looking out and saying, these places that are like us, that are like miles ahead, why aren't we that? And sort of instilling that sort of visioning of being like, we don't want to just be great for us, we want to be great compared to the rest of the world.
What a segue into Global Bluenosers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Man, that was
I
perfect.
planned it.
I could have done that better myself. So Global Bluenosers, I think you just kind of explained it, right? It's people around the world with roots in Nova Scotia that you talk to on your podcast.
Kind of like yourself, though. So, like, you said you were gone away for how many years?
10 years.
And so where were you?
So I lived in Ontario and Alberta in that time. And
the typical places.
The typical places.
Yeah.
So I always consider myself one of the more boring Global Bluenosers. But yeah, it's been kind of informed by that. I spent 10 years away, and then ever since I came home, I've always had a fascination. It started when I was away in what happens to Nova Scotians when they leave. And
you get called a newfie a lot in Calgary, don't you?
I mean,
you just get lumped in.
At times, although Calgary was mostly us, so we kind of could tell who each other was.
Go to the old Trapping Gill. And
when I lived in Calgary, that's all I got. Eh? They're like, you're a newfie.
Yeah.
You guys are all
a
newfies.
newfie.
Well, I am a newfie, but the three Nova Scotians I was there with weren't. But we were all newfies, right? Wherever we went. And
see, I get lumped in because my mom's a noof. So my accent is a weird blend. So I'm like down here, but also someone from the Avalon raised me.
Yeah, that's a couple very highly conflicting dialects you got going on there.
So it's like I've never been accepted by either. They're like, well, you sound like a Newfoundlander, and the Newfoundlander's like, you don't sound like a Newfoundlander. You sound like a maybe Nova Scotian, and so I'm just stuck in the middle.
Yeah. The dialects alone in Nova Scotia are crazy.
That's true.
Like, if you ever think about it, when you go down to Yarmouth
Sambro,
or you go to Cape Breton, it's like the range, dude, right through Sambro.
Literally a 25-minute drive from Halifax to Sambro.
It's not a huge province, and there's so many different speaking people. You know, families have been rooted here for centuries.
It's very we're for a small place, we're really regionalized, and it's. I mean, you're here on the South Shore. This is where I live, and you can just drive along here, and you're going to get a different accent every person you talk to.
It's you know what I got to say. Like, I love the movement that you're doing because, and there's a part of me that's even a little envious of it because for the longest time, and I'm still, I shouldn't say longest time, I still think of myself as like, a really Nova Scotian guy.
Yeah.
I love Nova Scotia. I love the tourism Nova Scotia. One thing that was really kind of cool that, like, for me is, like, I like showing off my province. And I met my wife, and she's from Quebec. So I got this really cool opportunity to show somebody my province, like, every inch of it.
Yep.
And I got to discover, like, you know, I've been with my wife for 15 years. So it's like, after a while, it's one of those things where it's like, we've already been there, like start getting even smaller and smaller. And I kind of feel like I know Nova Scotia fairly well. And people would come out visiting, like corporate stuff or whatever, and they would come from Ontario and like, hey, we hear you're the guy to talk to when it comes to knowing things to go around. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I've literally planned people's vacations. Mm-hmm. So I love Nova Scotia. So when I saw this was when I started kind of on my radar on LinkedIn and everything, I was like, man, that's a great idea. And why didn't I think about that like 10 years ago?
It's one of those things that it's weird the reception has gotten, but I think it does come from a place of, I got it from my own experience. When you're away, you feel like a bit of a forgotten Nova Scotian.
Sure.
And unintentionally, sometimes there's an undertone that you're somehow lesser because you left. And that is...
Or in cases of you go to another province, you're not as smart or you're not as capable because you're from somewhere else.
Well, yeah.
And that happens with, that happens with so many different people and cultures and everything, but it even happens within Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And within provinces or regions of provinces, right? Like, it's crazy.
It's probably one of the reasons why East Coasters, if we're going to talk specifically Nova Scotians, I think it's probably one of the reasons why we do seem to come together so easily is I always describe it as otherness.
Yeah.
Within the country, we've always been the other, like the little brother that you get patted on the head, and I think that there's a level of animosity for us that we get treated like that, and so for me, yeah, like that, I find it's the beautiful thing about that is it brings us together even tighter as a community.
Yes, it does. I agree with that too.
And but with Global Bluenosers, the intent was, you can belong to Nova Scotia. You can be a Nova Scotian. You can really wave the flag of being a proud Nova Scotian, regardless of your address. And
it's kind of like being Irish, which is kind of funny, like, because we have such
the
a
Irish
connect,
are great at it,
right? The Irish will claim anybody. There was a comedian that once said that. He's like, the Irish will claim anybody. Doesn't matter how horrible they were in history. He's like, they'll be like, if he has a little bit of Irish, he's like 1% Irish. Like, nah, he was one of us. Kind of thing.
I love that about them.
Yeah.
And they
weren't you recently in Ireland with this Global
London.
Bluenosers?
I was over in London.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that's been kind of part of it. Is like it started as a podcast. Like, this was only supposed to be a podcast.
Yeah.
Because it was like, it was pandemic. Everyone was starting podcasts, right?
Right.
And I was like, I'll do that. And it was mainly because I'd been posting Nova Scotia stuff so much that all these expats and alumni and people that really love the province started flocking to me on LinkedIn. And
cool. So that's where you saw the opportunity. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Because they're like, I was just posting. I was like that guy on LinkedIn that wasn't saying, come and congratulate me because I got a new job. I was like, here's a sunrise. Aren't we? Isn't it amazing that we live here?
Yeah.
And
I like that.
So, and then none of us could go anywhere. This was March of 2020.
Right.
When I really started to lean into LinkedIn. And then suddenly I'm like, Nova Scotians in like Germany and London and Singapore. They're reaching out, like,
so cool.
And they're just like. They're like, we love what you're doing about home. Can we just talk?
Yeah.
And like they missed home.
Yeah.
And so I started having all these conversations. Like, geez, I feel like I shouldn't be hoarding this. And so I finally built up the guts to start doing the show a year ago.
Yeah.
And the whole intent was just to start sharing these conversations.
I saw you just today on LinkedIn or yesterday. It was 1 year.
Yeah. So I hit a year and. But it very quickly evolved. It was like the stories resonated. I started getting messages. People were like, this is kind of like my weekly dose of homesickness antidote.
Right.
Or like the sense of like not being alone in their feelings, that sense of belonging and community. But really quickly then people started being like, well, if you're in town, let me know so we can meet you. And I was like, well, that sounds like a great idea to do a kitchen party.
Right.
And so then I was like, that's the next evolution.
So start the networking sessions.
So I was like, let's see if I plant the flag in a random city, will people come flocking to it? And so of all places, I started in Dallas.
Yep.
I saw that.
Why Dallas?
So it all goes back to my buddy Charles Gillis, who runs a law firm down there. And he's been one of my biggest proponents for years. And when I kind of mentioned the idea to him, he's like, sounds great, but you gotta do it here if you're going to launch it. And I was like, I don't know if Dallas has anybody. He's like, if anyone can find him, you can. And so I was like, all right. So we picked a date in October of last year.
Yeah.
And then I just started hunting. I just started crawling through LinkedIn, and I ended up with almost 50 people in the room in Dallas.
That's good.
And then not just that, but Mark Lowe, who is actually an entrepreneur here.
Yep.
This is natural, guys. We're getting the cars and everything
Seriously,
going by.
Yeah. That's how we get. So the garage doors are open here at Salt Box. So you're going to hear motorcycles, cars going by. If anybody gets in a fight on the street,
someone who needs to fix their muffler.
Yeah, it's like if you want authentic, that's what you get when you come down to Mahone Bay to talk to me.
This is the real deal, man. Yeah.
But yeah, Mark Lowe, an entrepreneur here in town, he owns the company Lobster Made Easy. They were on Dragon's Den and all that kind of stuff, but he's at these lobster trucks.
Cool.
And I didn't know he'd been looking at Texas. And so when I announced Dallas, he sent me a message. He's like, I'm going to drive a trailer down for the party. And I was like, pardon?
Okay.
So he literally packed up one of his lobster trailers, like the food truck trailers. He drove from here to Dallas.
Whoa.
He set up and served lobster to everybody.
No way.
Not only that, he launched an entity there. Like, he left the trailer. He plated it for Texas.
Oh, really?
Such a smart move, man.
That was his market entry. And so, like,
That's brilliant.
It was this crazy thing where this idea, like, launched. And so then I was like, well, the next place I want to do is London, because
London is on, like, my high bucket list to do podcasts.
Yeah, we'd love to do one over there.
Oh, it's...
Where else? Like, where's the mecca of afternoon pint?
Well, if you want to talk to a Nova Scotian while you're over there, let me know.
For sure.
Yeah. No, well, our whole inspiration of this show came from the afternoon pint in London. You walk in the afternoon, and everybody's having their pint after
those
work.
5 to 7s, right? Everyone's done work. On your way home, before you go home, you stop in, have a pint, and you have a discussion with your buddies, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's amazing, and it is absolutely loaded down with Nova Scotians.
Crazy.
So we had it was between 80 and 90 people came out to a pub in London.
That's cool.
Back in March, and it was like we were just sitting in the lower deck. It was the most East Coast feeling thing, and then we walked out, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh wait, no, I'm in London. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
Take over London. Start singing a bunch of East Coast music.
We did get kicked out of the pub.
Oh,
because we stayed too long. It was supposed to be.
Oh, yeah.
It was supposed to,
Did they know you were coming and everything?
I booked out the event space and everything. We stayed 3 hours over.
No way.
Right on.
That's typical Nova Scotia.
So it was. I should have warned them that I was like, it's kind of like if you had a group of Scots or Irish in the room.
Yeah.
They didn't realize it. They just thought it was a bunch of polite Canadians.
They didn't realize, hey, these guys could probably drink.
Oh, it's like I had bought like Benjamin Bridge wine and everything from home because they sell that over there.
Oh, yeah.
So I bought that and put it in the pub that night, and it was just like it got to be like 11:30 at night, and the staff just came up and they're like, "You have to leave."
Oh, really?
They're like, "We have to, we can't sit here any longer." There's this huge group of us still sitting there, so we just sort of like stumbled out onto the streets of London, and that was the end of the party.
I'm sure you found somewhere to go down to London.
Oh yeah, we found places to go. But yeah, so that's kind of, and now I've got some more events coming up this year. But it's been really fascinating.
Well, this show should pop up probably just the 1st of July or around that time, or first week of July, first second week. You got any events going on in July?
So July 25th, I'm going to be in Toronto.
Okay.
Going to be doing hopefully like 50 or 60 people in Toronto.
Oh, wow.
And then October of this year, I'm going to be over in San Francisco.
That's cool.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Beautiful spot.
Yeah, so...
And it's getting, like, crazy affordable to travel these places right now, too, I've noticed. Like, just recently. Like, San Francisco is a great example. Like, I go to yhzdeals.ca.
Oh, yeah.
You guys should be a sponsor.
You just gave him a shout-out for no reason.
That was it. That was
Send
just
us a check.
a taste.
I actually meant to do something. I mean, we have sponsors, but we want to get more. I had an idea on the show, and I completely forgot to do it today, but we'll do it another time. But anyways, the deals on that thing are crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like you get there for. I mean, I remember the first time I went to San Francisco. God, that ticket was not cheap.
No, it's just looking at the tickets out to San Fran. I've been actually really surprised. Like the cross border travel into the U.S. is surprisingly affordable. Even like when I flew down to Dallas, it was not what I expected. Way more expensive than flying.
I wonder if that's
because
because people just don't have as much money these days. People aren't flying around at leisure as much. I don't know.
I mean, traffic numbers are still really strong. I don't really know.
It's growing too.
Yeah.
I was just at a Halifax Chamber of Commerce event where they had the CEO of WestJet there.
Yeah.
And he was talking about all the expansion that was going to be happening here. Like they're, I don't know what he said, like 16 different flights from in and out of Halifax because they bought Sunwing.
Right.
So it's just going to be WestJet vacations. So they're going to be having like 7 trips from Halifax direct
that's
down
awesome.
south, and then they have 4 trips over to the UK.
Yeah, like Ireland, you can get there so cheap now.
Yeah.
London, you can get there. Gatwick, you can
Edinburgh.
get pretty cheap.
It's London, Gatwick, and then
Yeah.
Edinburgh.
Yeah.
and- yeah.
I'll be careful how much I talk about them because Air Canada's usually been a partner on my events.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Well, you know what?
Okay.
WestJet.
Well, you have your spot. WestJet,
I mean,
you better
yeah.
pony up, pay
Yeah,
us.
the airline wars that we're going to start between
Airline wars.
between the podcasts.
That would be the funnest rivalry in the world.
That would
If we
be
could both get a
the
competing
funnest.
sponsor.
Yep.
I would love that. That'd be really
I would actually love that. We could get like gang colors.
WestJet has cooler colors, but
That's true.
blue and green.
Yeah.
Purple.
That weird, like teal.
Yeah.
You know what? I have a problem with WestJet is that I have 2 WestJet accounts. I don't know how the frig I did it, but trying to get rid of either one of them
Oh, yeah.
is impossible.
Can they not merge them?
I just get 2 emails everything like Mike Tobin 2010 at Gmail or like sorry,
Hear that,
stealing my
WestJet?
Gmail.
Mike likes you so much. He liked you twice. Sponsor the podcast.
And help me get rid of one of my 2 accounts.
Yeah.
Is so confusing when
Do
I
that
book
too.
flights. I'm afraid to book a flight.
Got to get those points. You got
Yeah.
to get those points.
Yeah.
the
Ooh,
points
double
go
up the
all
points.
over the place. No, I don't get double.
Oh, okay.
It only goes into one account, but it goes into whichever account it feels like. So I can't
Wow.
understand why I have 2 accounts.
All
So,
right.
anyways, shout out to WestJet.
It's beyond our pay scale, guys. It's beyond our
I don't
pay
know if that
scale.
kind of stuff happens at Air Canada.
I mean, from my experience, it's been just wonderful and smooth at
Oh,
Air
there
Canada.
you go. Okay,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. But
Hey, you know what though? Speaking of WestJet,
Yeah.
they just signed a deal with JD Shore.
Oh yeah.
oh
pretty
yeah, I
cool.
did see that.
What's
That's
that?
pretty cool.
I
They're
did see
putting their shore shots in.
Oh, they're putting the shore
in
shots. I
flights.
did see
In
that.
the
Sorry.
flights.
Yeah. So the shore shots, and we got those from the drag queen episode. They
Yeah,
gave us shore shots.
They did.
Yeah, and I'm still sitting on a couple of them. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got more because of the WestJet meeting that I was at.
Oh yeah.
yeah. They're great. Anyway,
Wait.
it is what it is.
There was a while there we were starting to get some really good Nova Scotia content on airlines. Like when, unfortunately, Vivo went out of business. That drink, which was actually one of my favorite from the like non-alcoholic version.
Yeah.
Stuff. But I think they were on Air Canada by the end there. So it's like we had Nova Scotia stuff on Air Canada, and now you got that on West. So again, we got amazing products coming out of this place.
We actually did the Canada Brewer Awards. Nova Scotia did good in that too.
Yep.
I mean, aside from Saltbox, there as mentioned earlier, at Boxing Rock.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it took home the big prize,
Oh yeah.
right? And what the frig,
Couple gold medals.
Their IPA,
Yep.
their Puck
Blonde.
Off Blonde,
Yep.
and geez, there was another one I can't remember what it was.
No, it was the blonde and their.
Their
the-
IPA.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is, but
Yeah.
they got two. I think was it 2 golds and a silver or something like that? I can't remember. What
Yeah,
it was
and they won
exactly.
like best brewery,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in Canada or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's
Yeah.
especially on the craft beer side.
Yeah.
We're the classic East Coast. It's like we've got amazing stuff it just kind of hidden away where people are just doing it without.
We got a lot of different breweries that really give a shit, and that's one thing we notice coming around. Like,
Yeah.
we don't go to a brewery that doesn't think they're the best one.
Yep.
Like when we see most
Yeah.
places, right?
Yeah.
Like and that's awesome. Right?
Well, if you're-
that should be the spirit of your brewery.
Well,
right?
if you're going to create a product, you got to believe that you're the best.
absolutely, yeah.
It's if you have any doubt in that, then you better shut the doors.
Yeah.
But I love that because I don't think you come across too many like humble brewers.
No.
Like they might come across it on the surface, but like when you really see them, like they
Some of the best ones are eccentric and not humble.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I won't say anybody's name, but there's 2 that I'm thinking of that I'm like they're some of the best brewers that I've ever of the stuff that I've had. Some of the best brewers, and they're not humble,
And they'll tell you they're the best brewer.
and they're eccentric.
I'll give you some. I mean, we're overly humble maybe in Nova Scotia at times,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
I'll give you credit if you want to be telling yourself you're the best and you actually are, then good on you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And if not, keep saying you are until you get there.
Well, yeah. Eventually, people will tell you you're not.
Yeah, that's right. No, they'll let you know.
The dollars will follow the good beer.
Yeah.
So it's but a place like this, I don't think they have to worry.
Jeez, man, this is a really fun chat. Did you have anything else you wanted to announce, either through Blue Nose or through Volta or through? Are you up to anything else? I mean, that's a lot of projects, just those 2. What else are you up to?
I mean, am I up to anything else? I don't think so. I've tried to get good at saying no to stuff. It's as you put out more and more stuff into the world, because like I said, I've been big on on LinkedIn for years now. I kind of overcommitted. I just finished like doing a fundraising campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and get a lot of stuff coming at me. So I'm trying to keep it focused to Volta and Global Bluenosers. But sort of the day-to-day stuff that I do on LinkedIn is about celebrating this place and celebrating the businesses that make communities like Mahone Bay, not just like a nice place to be, but like a thriving place to be.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
With being so busy, obviously you must have a very supportive family to be, jumping around and doing all this stuff along with a day job.
Yeah. It's no, definitely. I get a ton of support, but you have to work as a team, right?
Of course,
And so my wife is starting to kind of go out and do some stuff on her own too. So it's about trying to make sure that I course correct to make sure that there's support for her too.
Does she come along on the trips at all?
They came in March to London, so we did a family vacation. I do the March events over a March break, and then we can all go.
Even better.
And so call out any sponsors that want to support my next event. Go for it.
There you go.
There's just been one drop for sponsors
after
another.
We all want sponsors so bad. It's like, please, come on, sponsors.
We would like extra sponsors because the Afternoon Pint would be a great collaboration.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Road show to Global Bluenosers.
Yeah, exactly.
We should do a team-up event at some point.
That would be cool.
We just did beer lunch. It was really successful.
Yeah.
It did really well. Yeah, we sold almost all the beer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I say we go to Belfast.
And we raised money for a good cause, too.
So, yeah, that's true, too. Yeah.
Just had a guy tell me I should go to Ireland for an event, so there we go.
There you go. That's where I'd like to go.
Yeah, we go to Belfast.
Line that up in October, and
there you go.
We'll start getting to work.
That's right.
Let's figure out how we could do it.
We'll do Munich at Oktoberfest.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd
Yeah.
be so cool. That'd be like a dream come true, dude.
Germany.
Yeah.
I'd love to go back. I mean, I've been to Germany 3 times, and I never want to I never want to
cool country.
Yeah, very cool.
Very, very interesting.
We get a couple listeners from Germany.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the 3 or 4 German listeners.
Yeah, exactly.
And the one guy in Russia.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's somebody from Russia that listens to
someone. Yeah.
Or should we say Guten Tag?
Yeah.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, yeah.
So, thanks to Saltbox.
Yes,
for-
Saltbox. Thank you so much.
They also have Lightship and the King Street. That's in Wolfville, which I do love Wolfville quite a bit too.
Yeah.
So their beer's available everywhere. So shout out to them.
Popular spot, popular beer. So thank you so much, Saltbox, and thank you, Sean.
Thanks, fellas.
This has
Appreciate
been
it.
awesome.
A lot of fun.
Cheers.
Cheers.